Hello, friends. This video is going to be more problems related to test questions that you will encounter on the upcoming exam. Here we're going to take everyday language statements and we're going to turn them into categorical propositions. Everyday language statements, turning them into categorical propositions. So number 41 here, a few heroes are not recognized. A few heroes are not recognized. So it seems on the face of it that it's not going to be universal because we're not talking about an entire class or excluding an entire class. So some heroes are not recognized. That's one way to think about it, right? Some heroes are not recognized. Now that's answer choice E. What's the problem with that though? Correct. The problem with that is that there is no noun group in the predicate class. So every class has to have a group of entities that exist that are nouns. Just think of it that way. You need nouns on both sides. So really what this is saying is some heroes are not recognized persons. Or you could say some heroes are not recognized people, or some heroes are not people who are recognized. Any of those would count. So the answer choice there is B. Not all birds can fly. Not all birds can fly. So not all means some. Not all birds can fly. Some birds can't fly, right? What this is saying is that there are some birds that can't fly. Some birds are not animals that can fly. Some birds cannot fly. Which one is it? Is it A or D? Well, going back to what I said on the previous one, it can't be D because that is not categorical form. There is no noun group in cannot fly. But here we have animals that can fly. So some birds are not animals that can fly. O form statement. We have the are not, the copula that we need. And so this is the proper way to say it in categorical form. Only astronomers are allowed in the observatory. Only astronomers are allowed in the observatory. So you might think all astronomers are people who are allowed in the observatory. Is that what this is saying? Or is this saying all people who are allowed in the observatory are astronomers? If you said all persons allowed in the observatory are astronomers, you would be right. Answer choice E. If you said all astronomers are people allowed in the observatory, that's not really what this means, right? Because there could be astronomers in other countries that have no idea that the observatory even exists, right? But what it's saying is for all the people who are allowed in this one specific observatory, we don't know which one it is, but those people must be astronomers. And so the best answer here is E. And again, we are trying to turn it into categorical form, so all SRP. So no astronomers are persons not allowed in the observatory. Those would be, that would be like an E form statement. So most of these have categorical form, but E here captures the meaning the best. All the musicians except the violinists are practicing. What is this saying? All the musicians are practicing, but not the violinists, right? So just work through this in your mind, like try to break it down into its parts. It seems like it might be saying two things, right? It's saying that everyone who's not a violinist or non-violinist, they're all practicing. And at the same time, the violinists are not. So they might just be like hanging out, watching the game, doing something, whatever they do. So all musicians except the violinists are practicing. no violinists or musicians who are practicing. Sorry, I'm looking at letter C here. We can start from the beginning. All violinists are musicians who are practicing, and no non-violinists are musicians who are practicing. That's the opposite, right? Because it's saying all except the violinists are practicing, so the violinists can't be practicing. Some violinists are practicing. Okay, no, we know that's not true, right? Because it says that, essentially it's saying that none of them are. No violinists are musicians who are practicing. Well, that's true. None of the violinists are practicing. But there's another piece to this that's saying that the musicians, all the other musicians who are non-violinists are practicing. So C is correct, but it doesn't capture everything. No violinists are musicians who are practicing, and all musicians who are not violinists are musicians who are practicing. That is correct. D is the correct answer because that statement is saying those two things at one time. But we can check the final E to see if it's correct. All non-violinists are musicians who are practicing. That's true, right? But C and E must be brought together into D to capture the entire meaning of that statement. 45. The only flowers she grows are daisies. What does that say? Just think about it. The only flowers she grows are daisies. All the flowers she grows are daisies. There's no other type of flower she grows that's not a daisy. Okay, so all things identical to daisies are grown by her are flowers. That doesn't capture the meaning, because what it's saying is that the only thing she grows are daisies. This statement is actually saying that daisies are flowers, but that's not what this is saying. All flowers she grows are daisies. All the flowers she grows are daisies. That V captures the meaning. The only flowers she grows are daisies. All the flowers she grows are daisies. That's the way you would say it. All daisies she grows are flowers. That is true. It's a true statement that if you grow a daisy, it's a flower. But that's not what the statement, not what the original intent of the meaning is. Some flowers she grows are daisies. Well, that would be true from the traditional standpoint if all flowers she grows are daisies is given as true. Some flowers she grows are daisies would also be true, but here we're not saying that because it's saying that the only flowers she grows are daisies. No flowers not grown by her are daisies. Well, that's not true either, because there might be other people out there who are growing flowers that are daisies too. Just because it's not grown by her doesn't mean they're not growing daisies. Vienna is not in Hungary. Okay, this is an important one. Whenever you're talking about an individual person, an individual city or something, it's really important that you use this one technique. So I'll let you look at these answers. Pause the video, take a look at it. Vienna, all Viennas are not in Hungary. That is not what this is saying, right? There's a specific city called Vienna, and it's not in Hungary. No cities identical to Vienna are cities in Hungary. All cities identical to Vienna are not cities in Hungary. Vienna is not a city in Hungary. All countries identical to Hungary are not countries that contain Vienna. Some cities identical to Vienna are not cities in Hungary. The answer here is A. No cities identical to Vienna are cities in Hungary. So remember, whenever you're talking about a specific person, Justin likes flowers. All people identical to Justin are people who like flowers. Justin does not like flowers. All people identical to Justin are people who do not like flowers. And so the answer here is A. There is a hotel in the village. There is at least one hotel in the village. There is one hotel that is something in the village. Remember, in the village is not an appropriate predicate class. We need to have a noun in there. So we can change this. There is an there exists a hotel such that this hotel is in the village or it's a thing in the village. Some hotels are things in the village and some hotels are not things in the village. Well, this says nothing about what's not there, so that doesn't capture the meaning. Some hotels are things in the village. That does capture the meaning. Some hotels are not things in the village. This doesn't say anything about what's outside the village, so that doesn't capture the meaning. All hotels are things in the village. That's not true either. It's saying that there's one hotel in the village. There are a bunch of other types of hotels that aren't there, so that's not true. No hotels are not things in the village. It's also not true. So the answer here is some hotels are things in the village, B. Now this one might throw you off a little bit. Remember that some in logic means at least one. So whenever you're talking about one thing in particular, that's not specific like Vienna or like a person, you can say some and it counts technically as one, even though in everyday usage, usually we mean some. We say there are some people there, it might be like 2 to 10 people or whatever. Logically, in this context, some means at least one. She buys whatever catches her eye. She buys whatever catches her eye. So pause the video, read through the answers. She buys whatever catches her eye. The things that jump out here would be all things she buys are things that catch her eye, or all things that catch her eye are things she buys. She buys whatever catches her eye. Which one is it? All things she buys are things that catch her eye. Remember when you have a word like whatever, whoever, or anything like that, the thing that follows it almost always is the subject of the all SRP. So the answer here is E. All the things that catch her eye are things she buys. There might be other things that don't really catch her eye that she still buys that we don't know about, right? Like maybe toilet paper or something, right? She has to buy toilet paper. It doesn't really catch her eye, but she still has to buy it. But all the things that do catch her eye are things that she buys. So E is the best answer. A dog barked. Remember, when it's a general singular, it's not like Fido the dog barked. We can use some, because some means at least one. So some dogs barked. Some dogs barked. Well, that doesn't work either, right? Because barked is not an appropriate predicate class. We need a noun in there, as I've been saying, ad nauseum. So some dogs are animals that barked. D. Some dogs are animals that barked. A dog barked. Some dogs are animals that barked, meaning one. Meerkats are not lizards. Meerkats are not lizards. Take a look at it. Pause the video. Try to answer it. Meerkats are not lizards. No meerkats are lizards. Dogs are not cats. No dogs are cats. So when you have something like this is not that, it's the same as saying no S are P. S are not P. No S are P. Humans are not meerkats. No humans are meerkats. So the answer here is letter C. All right. I hope you found this video hopefully meaningful, and hopefully it will help you in your journey toward mastering logic and performing well on the upcoming exam.